What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So today we're going to be reacting to Asmongold TV reacts to the scale of the universe because this guy's hilarious, and I wanted to watch it, and I figured why not record it? So just double checking this is on. All right, let's go. Asmongold, mind blown by the scale of the universe. I think this guy's great.
Powers of 10 are pretty cool. They're actually pretty powerful, if you know what I'm saying.
Because they're
what
powers.
What is the power of 10? In math, a power of 10 is any
Classic.
integer power of the number 10. Basically, 10 multiplied by itself a certain number of times. Any number of times. For example, 10 to the power of 1 is just 10. 10 squared is 100. 10 cubed is 1000. You get the idea.
Yeah.
The powers of 10 help us compare the relative.
It's a good way to do quick math. You know, if you think of what's 1,000 times 1,000, you might be a bit bewildered by that. But if you know 1,000 is 10 to the 3, you do 10 to the 3, 10 to the 3 in terms of the powers. 10 to the 6, it's a million. And you can do that really quick. So, hot little pro tip there.
Size of things. Here, n represents any number you want. It's called the order of magnitude.
Alrighty.
Positive order of magnitude will make x bigger,
He looks
while
so
a negative
confused.
number will make x smaller. The effect of adding one extra zero to the beginning or end of any number may seem irrelevant.
He's just like, what the F is this?
But what happens if we take these numbers to the extremes? What might these numbers represent?
The fuck does that mean?
You ever heard of a Google? You know the website Google? Well, it's actually a number. It's a very big number. I forget how big the number is. But there is a bigger number. I think it's... Wait, no, I remember. A Google is 10 to the power of... It's either 99 or 100. So that, like 99 zeros after the 10. And then there's a Googleplex, which is a Google to the power of a Google. Crazy.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Believe it or not, the powers of 10 actually put our universe into perspective quite nicely. Let's start with the really small powers of 10.
He's on the Pepsi. Bro, you gotta get on the Pepsi Max. 0 kilojoules.
10 to the negative 35 meters, we come to what is known as the Planck length. Planck length is the smallest measurable distance in the entire universe. Much like at the center of a black hole, at a scale this tiny, the laws of physics...
That's as long as the dicks of the people that complain about me on Twitter.
...break down and cease to be valid.
I was about to say something serious, and I just totally got thrown off. Anyway, let's just keep watching. I was going to say something about the Planck length, but yeah, we'll get around
the amount of time
it.
it takes a photon of light to
What
travel
the
one
fuck?
Planck length is known as the Planck time, and is equal to
That's
10 to the negative
insane.
43 seconds. Meaning that this is the shortest measurable time possible. Any time shorter than this physically has no meaning at all. This is why, at the moment, scientists can only say that the universe came into being after it was already 10 to the negative 43 seconds old. Getting larger at 10 to the negative 18 meters, we reach quarks. These are the subatomic particles that compose protons and neutrons.
What?
10 to the negative 7 meters, we reach the smallest forms of life, single-celled organisms.
Okay.
At
So he's just jumped huge distance. There's a lot of things you could fit in there, but I totally agree with just getting through it quickly.
Like eggs, birds, and toilet paper.
Alright, I've seen birds
At 1
before.
meter, we have everyday life, humans, dogs. Blue whales come in at a solid 30 meters.
Okay.
Next, we come across the meaning of life, or 42, whatever you decide it is. At
What is
270 meters, we reach the length of the Titanic.
I'm sure you all got the reference, but the answer to the universe, everything, 42, the meaning of life. And another little fun thing about 42, if you cut a hole through our Earth at any angle, straight through, on slight angles, and there's a vacuum in that hole to the other side, it'll actually take you exactly 42 minutes to get to the other side if you just fell through it. And, you discount friction and all that stuff. Just a fun little fact.
That's long.
Triple that, and we get the population of Vatican City, the smallest country in the world. It's kind of
Okay.
funny because Central Park in New York City is actually 4 kilometers long, and is 8 times larger than Vatican City, which is an entire country. Clocking in at 11,000 meters is Phobos,
course.
Mars' largest moon. Fun fact, one day it's going to crash into Mars, so if we're going to colonize it, we should probably find a way to deal with it.
You just hit it with a nuclear bomb, and that way it would blow it up. Like, that's, I don't even know, like, that's what you do. You just hit it with a bomb, and it will blow it up. And that way it wouldn't hit the planet.
It would take a few
Or you could
nuclear
have
bombs.
people, like, maybe on the moon, and they would, like, what would happen if they were on the planet when they blew it up? And, like, each individual piece, like, what the fuck would even happen then?
With an order of magnitude of 5, we have Hydra, one of Pluto's
It would be bad.
moons.
Hydra?
Even though it's a moon, it's only 100 kilometers across.
That's not
the state of West Virginia in the United States is actually 4 times as large.
That's
There's
small.
also about 10 to the 5 hairs on the average human head. At 2,300 kilometers in diameter, we have everyone's favorite planet, Pluto. Oh, wait. Anyway, moving on. With an order of magnitude of 7, we have Earth.
Got the motor.
At 12,700 kilometers. At a diameter of 200,000 kilometers, we have Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our Sun. It's also home to Proxima b, an exoplanet with features much like Earth.
Oh,
if
we
there
can
were to
live
be
there.
a manned mission to any other star system's planets, Proxima b would probably be the first choice.
Wow.
With an order of
There's
magnitude...
currently a mission in the making called Breakthrough Starshot, and they're wanting to send a little, a little nanocraft there, and they're going to power it with lasers, and it's going to get there in about, I think it's about 20 years. Once we send it, and then obviously we'll have to wait another 20 years for the signal to get... No, it'll come back at the speed of light if it beams back a signal. So Proxima Centauri is a year and a bit away, so only a year. But to get there, it's going to take a while, and it'll gradually build up speed. I can't remember too much of the details, so let's continue. Go read about it. Starshot Breakthrough Starshot.
Of 9.
I think there's a Russian billionaire behind it, funding it.
I think that's bigger than the Earth. Holy shit.
That's a lot bigger. That's you could fit 1,000 Earths in the sun. No, sorry, 1.3 million Earths. What am I talking about? But I was just wondering, are they talking about? Yeah, the sun. Yeah.
1.4 million kilometers? Jesus, dude. Look at that. That's crazy.
It accounts for more than 99.8% of the
That's
mass in our solar
insane.
system. At 10 powers...
Mm-hmm.
Although these orbits seem pretty big, they're dwarfed by one of the most luminous stars in the sky, the Pistol Star. At 470 million kilometers wide, it radiates as much energy in 20 seconds as our sun does in one whole year. But the Pistol Star is nothing when compared to the largest star ever discovered.
What the fuck?
I'm just waiting for a joke.
What
it is
the
over
fuck?
2 billion kilometers wide. And if it were to replace our sun, it would completely swallow the planets of Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. At 26 billion kilometers, we reach what is known as a light day. It is exactly how far light travels in 24 hours.
What the fuck? That's really big. Like, imagine how hot that is.
Jesus Christ.
That'd be really hot.
Language.
What the fuck,
This
man?
distance is currently farther than any human or space probe has ever traveled.
I'm just reading the
Yeah.
comments
At 10 to the
popping up
14
on his
meters away
screen.
from Earth, our solar system appears only as a small point of light in the sky, just like every other star that we see in the night sky.
Holy
10 to the
fuck.
15 meters, we have the Cat's Eye Nebula, one of the most complex nebulae ever discovered. The entire nebula is nearly half a light year in diameter.
Oh my god.
At 2 light years away from Earth, we reach the Oort cloud, a region of space filled with water and methane ice. At this far distance, the sun's gravity no longer has an effect on objects past this point.
It is theoretical, the Oort cloud. We're fairly sure it exists. It's like the spherical shell of debris and stuff around our solar system, and we think every star system would have one. We could talk about this endlessly. I think I've talked about it in a few of the other videos, so
Other
let's
stars
continue.
are stronger.
Oh
At
shit.
10 to the 17 meters, we have a familiar sight,
Oh, I've
the
seen
Pillars
this picture.
of Creation.
Pillars.
Each pillar
cool.
is over 5 light years long. That's about 48 trillion kilometers each.
5 light years long? Like, what the... How the fuck?
1 light year, by the way, is about 9 trillion kilometers, and we're still within our galaxy currently. Like, these things are, you know, fairly close to us compared to
It's
what's
Legion.
coming.
Yeah, I know. Where do you think they got the idea? Like, you think about how long... That's not your dick, okay? Shut up. But the middle one does look... Why does the middle one look like a dick, man?
Everyone has seen these before.
Yeah.
However, they won't last forever. They're actually already gone.
What?
Pillars of Creation are located at
Well, I think the name would fit a dick as well. Pillars of Creation,
about
right?
7,000 light years from Earth.
Okay.
But about 6,000 years ago, they were destroyed by a nearby supernova.
Well, that
Meaning
sucks.
that in 1,000 years, they'll fade away from our view and disappear into the darkness of space.
What the
Skipping
fuck?
forward to 10 to the 21 meters away from Earth, we
The
can
amount of
finally
times
see
this
the
guy
Milky
is
Way galaxy
WTF.
in its entirety. Every star in the night sky that you can see lies within our galaxy. However, at 10 to the 22
Most of them.
meters,
We can see Andromeda. It's like this little patch. It's almost the same size as the moon in the sky. You can only see it as kind of like a faint blob. No, it's not too faint, but you can see it. And if you, with your peripheral vision, you can see the large and small Magellanic Cloud. But when you look at it with your peripheral vision, it looks like a faint cloud in the sky on a clear night. But anyway, I mean, that's from down where I am. It's probably a bit different over where he is in America.
to our
So.
nearest neighboring galaxy, Andromeda. You can actually see Andromeda in the night sky with a simple pair of binoculars or normal telescope. 10
Sorry,
to the
should've
23
just let
meters.
him
We
continue.
reach what is known as the
It's not that big. Okay, so it's not that big. What the
local
fuck?
group.
It's pretty
Its
big.
name pretty much tells you what it is. It's the local group of galaxies that are near the Milky Way.
Jesus.
We're actually the second largest just behind Andromeda. The local group is a part of the Virgo cluster, a group of galaxies just like the local group,
A
except
group of
much larger.
galaxies?
The Virgo cluster contains about 1,500 galaxies and is over 15 million light years long. At 10 to the 24 meters away from Earth, we come across the anomaly known as the Great Attractor. See objects with a lot of
What is this? Is this like Marvel? Like, I feel like I'm like listening to some fucking like comic book lore or some kind of shit, like that Marvel extended universe or something.
Well, that's where they got a lot of the ideas in Marvel. Like they've pulled a lot of stuff from, real science in the universe, which is really cool. But what was I gonna say? I love how like wholesome this video is. Just he's giving his like genuine reaction to a lot of this stuff, and clearly he hasn't looked into a lot of this stuff. I think it's kind of wholesome to see like someone's genuine reaction. It's awesome.
Like what the fuck? Yeah, like we're gonna get it. When are we gonna talk about Galactus? Oh my god!
I remember looking into the scale of like Marvel villains or whatever, and Galactus, I think his size is like, I can't remember perfectly, but I can't remember if it was like the same size as the universe or the same size as a galaxy. No, it was a galaxy, I think. But there were villains in Marvel that are bigger than the entire observable universe, which is just stupid.
mass have a stronger gravitational pull. That's why planets have moons and
But I mean,
don't.
I'm sure you've heard those ideas, like maybe we're just, in this little, bubble on someone's shelf, like some toy or something. Who knows, man?
They're a lot more massive than you are.
I don't have
However,
a moon?
The Great Attractor is a bit different.
That's sad.
It's pulling clusters of galaxies towards it, but we can't observe or see what it is.
What?
It's an object with a mass tens of thousands of times larger than the Milky Way's, but we don't even know what it is.
What the fuck?
At 10 billion light years from Earth, we come across the largest known object in
Okay,
the
so we
universe.
do kind of know what it is. It's just, it's got a lot of mass, so it's likely a lot of dark matter. You've probably seen those images of the cosmic web where it's like the outline of all the dark matter in the cosmos. It's really interesting. If you've never seen it, go check it out. It's the largest scale structure of the universe, and that causes a lot of the movement within our galaxy. I mean, our universe, because everything's gravitationally bound, including dark matter, and so that kind of is the big boy in town. It kind of controls everything else in terms of what moves around. But then I'm sure this guy's might talk about dark energy a little bit. And on big scales, dark energy actually takes over, and gravity, only really is dominant at shorter scales within our local group of galaxies. But anyway, let's continue.
The Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. It's a bit of a mouthful,
What?
but rightfully so. Why? Because it physically should not exist. It is 10 billion light years long, 7 billion light years wide, and nearly 1 billion light years deep. This means that light would take 10 billion years to cross the entire wall only once. To put it into
What?
perspective, the universe is only
So he said it shouldn't exist. So that's a silly thing to say, because like if it exists, well then, it exists. It's our understanding that's wrong.
13.8 billion years old.
But
Okay.
I don't think there's actually anything in our understanding that says it actually shouldn't exist either. I'm fairly sure it's absolutely fine. So that was a little bit of a,
The time that
misinformation.
Earth has been a planet about 4.5 billion years,
Okay.
the light that has left the one end of the Great Wall hasn't even made it halfway to the other side yet. The structure is so big, it breaks laws of physics.
No.
There's something in the world of science known as
there is problems with massive galaxies and really large black holes, ultramassive black holes, in that our theoretical models, our computer simulations of the universe can't reproduce this stuff. So we're missing some things, and they grow to that size so quickly, so early in the universe. We really, our physics is struggling to understand what's going on. When I say struggle, I mean like it's not working. So there's probably mechanisms we're missing, or the physics as we understand it of the universe is kind of a bit off. Like dark matter might not be made of these little particles or whatever. It could be just entirely non-existent, and our understanding of gravity could just be totally wrong. Some form of modified Newtonian gravity. Who knows?
To put it simply, it says no matter where you are in the universe, if you look in any direction, you should see an even distribution of matter. This in turn creates a limit for the sizes of objects. It's about 1.2 billion light years, meaning that this structure is 8 times the supposed limit of the largest object possible. And at 10 to the 27 meters away from Earth,
there's always going to be statistical anomalies, though. And that's, based on how big the universe is. And we can really only speak for the observable universe. Anyone into cosmology is fairly sure that there's probably a lot more universe beyond the observable universe, especially if inflation continued, which it might have. And the universe could be way bigger than what we see. It could be way bigger than the observable universe, which is currently about 94 billion light years. I'm sure you'll get there.
We reach the outer limits of the observable universe. This is as far as we can go, and most likely will ever be able to.
What is this in the background is the cosmic web. It looks like the dark matter we like to, color in with whatever shade in our cosmological n-body dark matter simulations.
Yeah.
And thus, our journey ends.
What happens if you go past that?
27 steps ago, we were back at Earth, back at life as we know it.
Yeah, what happens if you go past that?
But the most amazing thing to me...
What happens? Well, it's kind of what I just said, how, we know before the Big Bang itself, there was a period called inflation where the universe expanded exponentially, way quicker than the speed of light. It got so much bigger so quickly. The proportion of that is actually equal to, after that point, how much it's grown since. So it grew really quickly. And, we have this concept of the observable universe. It'll take some time to explain it, so maybe not. But anyway, just understand that this inflationary period, if it continued, which is well beyond the speed of light, well, the universe, like I said a minute ago, could be so much bigger. I remember looking into estimates of it. I can't remember the exact number. It might have been like something septillion, which is, a lot of zeros. So yeah, just imagine that. And then there's also, you've probably heard of the multiverse. So who knows how big this place truly is. I don't think we really have any evidence to even sort of speculate at this stage. It's all just kind of fun. And it really annoys me when those scientists are like, misinformation, don't talk about this. It's like, shut up, man. Like, it's fun to speculate and to think about what's going on. So there's so many of them coming up on YouTube, they're just like, oh, you can't talk about this. This is misinformation. As long as the people talking about it, say like, this is purely speculation and, we don't know. It's absolutely fine. So anyway.
That we travel to the outer limits of our universe as we know
so probably more universe.
The largest structures known in the entire universe.
Well, it's an invisible
it only
wall.
Took us 27 steps.
No. But I mean, in a way, there is an invisible wall because, once you get to this observable universe limit, it's like becomes opaque, the universe, we say. And that's because, as you go, you look out in the universe, you're looking back in time. So once you get to that point, you're at such an early point in the universe. It was in the early stages of the universe before light was free, before photons were free to roam around, essentially, right? And so the universe was like in this opaque state where it wasn't transparent and, light wasn't free to move around. So there is a kind of wall, and that's why these gravitational observatories, which you might have heard about recently, where we saw the two, black holes merging, and we saw that through this gravitational observatory stuff. Well, it might allow us to go beyond this kind of invisible, but this barrier. And so now you might be confused as to how I said there might be way more universe beyond that. It gets confusing. It gets really confusing, okay? But just go read some stuff. We'll continue. I've been talking for a bit. But yeah, even if this inflationary period happened before the Big Bang, it is still possible that there's way more universe beyond this, opaque stuff.
27 orders of magnitude. But in order to travel to the tiniest limits known to man, at the Planck length, we have to take 35 steps backwards from the human level. This means that we are 8 orders of magnitude, or about 100 million times larger compared to the smallest thing there is, than the universe is compared to us. And that, I find, is the most interesting thing of them all.
See, this is why WoW does stat squishes. Because, like,
I don't know what that
if
is.
they didn't do that, like, the numbers would get insane. Like, this is what happens. Like, real life doesn't do stat squishes at all. And like, no, there's no stat squishes at all. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have, like, these things that aren't supposed to be real. Yeah, this is crazy. Like, you need a real life stat squish, man.
Well, and World of Warcraft, right? That's WoW. I love how this is like, this guy is a pro gamer or whatever, and he's reacting to, potentially a big game if the universe is a simulation. But yeah, I'm interested in what he's talking about, these stat.
How's it gonna be that
things.
big?
Dude.
You think about like a star that's like half the size of our entire solar system.
It is over 2.
Jesus.
And like the Great Attractor, like, dude, like this is like some fucking like, that's actually like sci-fi shit, man.
You know how...
Well, it's important to understand sci-fi, science fiction is usually based on what we currently know in science. And then it's sci-fi because you then extrapolate beyond that and you try and stay within the realms of what we think is possible. That's good, hard sci-fi, at least.
Made fun of ICP for not understanding how magnets worked.
Well, they understand.
Dude, magnets are complicated. Magnetism is not easy to understand. And, like, most people don't realize that electricity and magnetism are like two sides of the same coin. And really, they're the same thing when you view it with the lens of special relativity. We're not going to go further on that, but it's really complicated.
They just knew they were miracles.
Okay, well, that's how I feel about this kind of shit. Like, how the fuck do we know about this gigantic ass wall? Like, how the fuck do we know about that? Who
Telescopes.
told us? How are aliens not real? How the fuck is that?
So aliens are probably real, but we haven't got any evidence for them yet. How do we know about all this stuff? Well, like I just said, we use telescopes to look at the light that's coming, at us, and you look at the spectra and you can understand things. Sorry, my dog is going off his tree, but it's very sort of solidified that these things, we're not just like, oh, maybe this is there. No, it's like, direct evidence for this stuff.
How are aliens not real?
They're probably real, bro.
How the fuck is that happening? They've got to be real. They've got to have told us something, right? Of course, the
not
governments
necessarily.
wouldn't tell us anything.
Okay, so before he goes on, the reason why what he just said might not be true, like when he said aliens are definitely telling us, well, the place is really big, man. Like that was what this universe, what this video pointed out. Like it's huge, and you're bound by the speed of light as far as we can tell. And so if you send a signal at the speed of light, even to the nearest star, it's going to take over a year. And then you want to send a signal to the nearest big galaxy, it's going to take you about 2.5 million years, bro, because that's how fast light can travel. To get to this nearest galaxy. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. So, probably not in terms of the alien stuff he's talking about.
It would instantly disprove all the religions and shit, right? So, of course, aliens have had to...
Not necessarily. Like, if aliens showed up tomorrow, it wouldn't necessarily disprove religion, because religion's, about meta stuff and where the universe comes from. So they're probably going to be just as clueless as we are, unless they've figured out, you know, what it's all about and scientifically, which they may have. But even if they showed up, I'm actually kind of sure, fairly sure, that no one, it would be cool, but I honestly think humans would go about their day in almost the same way and just not even care, really, and keep believing whatever stupid thing they believe in, because that's what so many of us do. And there's crazy stuff happening constantly. Like, look at the stuff that we know about. No one cares about it. No one looks into things. People just believe in whatever they want to. So I really don't think if aliens showed up that all religions would just collapse. No way. When I was younger and more naive, I thought that as well, because I read a lot of sci-fi in like the book 2001. You know, he talks about how religion's like this necessary evil, and you know, if we discovered aliens, something like that might happen. But I don't know, man. I think people would just keep believing in whatever they want to believe in.
Because Trump would have fucking said it. He would have said it like on a tweet or something like that. He would have said it.
No, they would have erased. Listen.
I want to weigh in here in terms of all this UFO stuff. Look, you know, don't be certain of anything, guys. You know, they really could be around. You know, and some people might not like me saying that, but it is completely possible. So I think you should remain fairly agnostic. You know, like take everything with a grain of salt, of course. It's like Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, of course. But, you know, don't be so sure that you know what's going on and so sure that there isn't things like that happening. You know, I think Elon Musk as well would have told us. But who knows, man? Who knows?
Listen,
there's a lot I could say here, but yeah, that's enough.
The aliens would have gone back, like they would have like gone back through history and erased
like
his entire,
back in time and like erased his tweet.
They would have gone back through time and erased who he is, his entire family. He never would have existed, and that's enough to put fear into him and to never say anything ever. I'm telling you, aliens are fucking real. They can time travel. They can manipulate us. They fucking. I'm telling you. How the fuck are we supposed to know about this goddamn wall? How is that possible?
But the stuff he's saying about the aliens is just cracking me up. You know, he could be right, but like, as far as we know, definitely not.
He says in the video that it breaks the laws of physics or some shit, right?
No,
yeah, how they know about
it was wrong about that.
I know, that's fucking crazy, man. Like, to me, it's like the scale of it is so big that just going back to thinking about building a castle is like, oh yeah, okay.
I love castles.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so theoretically massive that it's hard to even process in your mind. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched these things before, and like, it's incredible, dude. It's absolutely fucking incredible.
Listen to me, Chad. I'm telling you right now, okay? Something has happened, okay? We have upset the aliens in some way, okay? That's why we haven't had any, like, super major technological advances in the past, like, fucking, like, goddamn decade, okay? I'm telling you right now, aliens are 100%
What about all the
real
AI advancement we've had recently? And we've basically... There's been huge advances in technology. I'd say there's no real advances in theoretical physics, sure, but technology, you know, I remember when I was like 10, I didn't even have like Wi-Fi or a phone. And phones were like these giant bricks. I'm not that old, by the way. I was born in 95.
Think about this, okay? How did we get plastic, okay? How the fuck did that happen?
The 1930s plastic revolution, baby. It's really not that hard. That was great. Anyway, awesome video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want me to watch some more entertaining videos of Asmongold, I'm sure there are some more. Let me know down under, and I'll catch you next time. Subscribe.